Warning: The Lobo Show contains adult content, crude humor that may go against your religion, ethics, and morals. A perspective point of view you may never find your own. Viewer discretion is advised. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, hopefully, to the podcast of all podcasts, the worst thing in radio, the best thing for some. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Lobo Show. With you, as always, me, your host, Lobo. And with me, as always, my producer, Heapsack. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not the one to be the guy to say, I hate to say I told you so, but man, there's a lot of people out there that was hating and that they were denying, but I hate to say I told you so. Again, what happened this week, one of the news, and welcome here, by the way. We got a lot of fun-packed show here, a lot of things to talk about, but I just like to say this. This Stormy Daniels once again in the news. So she's in the news again, ladies and gentlemen, and then for all the wrong reasons once again. Obviously, she came out and, the porn star Stormy Daniels, who came out and said that she had, an affair with Trump. Well, not an affair, but one night stand mostly. And now the liberals are calling her the all hero because she just came out. And obviously she was suing Donald Trump, the president of the United States, for slander. She was like saying, oh, this guy slandered my name. Because this whole media debacle, and she went out there and tried to sue him, and she lost. So now Stormy Daniels is shit up a creek right now with no fucking paddle, and what the fuck, like what she's gonna do next, Zach? I don't know. What do you know about this?
Yeah, it's been a crazy week for Stormy Daniels. That should be a lesson to everybody that wants to fool around with Trump's lawyers. They're gonna win.
When it comes down to it, you know how it is, man. If you got a lot of money and you're going to put your money on lawyers and shit, you're going to definitely beat somebody who's got fucking relatively no fucking money and they're going against a bigger company like that. I mean, I'm going to say 80% of the time, you know what I mean? Especially when it's something as frivolous as this case, slander and all this kind of shit. Like legit, man, that could have been a big thing if she did win. It's like, man, you can't even say something bad about anybody, but it's just like it was bad legal advice that she got, and her fucking lawyer is a fucking moron, but obviously he was trying to try to take everything she got or whatever, just try to take a chance at it, and he looked a fucking idiot. I'm going to move on from that right quick because there's more important shit to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. And obviously, I think the big thing that deserves some attention right now is the whole Saudi Arabia situation and what's going on in Saudi Arabia. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously, there's no secret that the United States and Saudi Arabia has been in bed with each other for fucking decades, man, for decades and shit. You can practically name any administration going back fucking 50 fucking years. The relationship with Saudi Arabia. To be honest, they have a lot of fucking oil, and we want oil. We love oil. We practically fucking go to war for oil, and they have it. And they have a lot of fucking money too. But the things what we have is that, protection. We got military and shit in, and anytime there's a problem, they can call on us, although they got a lot of fucking money, but they don't want to make it seem like they're the old bad guys, like they're the fucking, like the number one bad guys. Saudi Arabia always seemed, everybody, if you know about Saudi Arabia and shit, like, dude, they got a fucking sword in their flag, they don't fuck around. But in a way, they're always trying to make it seem like they're the most civilized out of all the Middle East. And I know that's may come off the wrong way. Like, hey, what do you mean by that? I'm going to fucking tell you what I mean. Like, you go to fucking, Afghanistan and Pakistan, there's a lot of people and there's a lot of area over there that's not as fucking civilized as you think. They still stone women to death and shit. You know what I mean? So what the fuck? But Saudi Arabia, they now they got the new prince, and we talked about this guy before here in the Lobo show. Was they're kind of saying, oh, this guy's like he's a little bit more moderate. He's kind of woke, if you will. He's got women driving, and he's like doing this other fucking shit. That's he opened movie theaters and shit because prior to the Saudi Arabia, they had no movie theaters. They definitely didn't let women drive. There's very little rights and shit. So he's kind of like opened up to that fact. He was even cover of Time magazine. This prince, the Saudi crown prince bin Salim, some shit like that, right? So this guy, right now, was somewhat of like the median darling over here, probably in America, I would say. Especially, this guy gave a lot of money. In terms of donating, if you can say that, donations into the fucking military. And when I say a lot of money, I'm talking about billions here, right? So like nobody really and he's doing a lot of businesses, but he was bringing American business into Saudi Arabia as well, a lot of big American businesses. So obviously now some shit happened. Now the shit hits the fan. Everybody's in the uproar about Saudi Arabia. Heapsack, maybe if you can fill in the people here who heard about this story, and he was like, "Yeah, I heard about something about Saudi Arabia, but like I'm fucking busy doing stuff all day. But they're tuning into the Lobo show. I get my news over here. So, Heapsack, why don't you enlighten everybody? What's the whole story about? What's this whole where everybody's going in uproar right now?"
Yes, Turkish officials suspected within hours of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi's disappearance that he had likely been killed. Intelligence officials raced to Istanbul airport, where a private Saudi plane was waiting to take off, to try to find out whether he had been abducted or whether his body was being taken out of the country. They found nothing suspicious. The flight in question left at about 11 p.m. local time. In the 2 weeks since, authorities have been trying to piece together what happened on that fateful afternoon when the Washington Post columnist walked into the Saudi consulate to obtain paperwork to marry his Turkish fiancée. Turkish officials now say they believe that 15 Saudi men who arrived in Istanbul on October 2nd were connected to Khashoggi's death. At least some of them appeared to have high-level connections to the Saudi government. Multiple sources, supported by the findings of a police report, said how Turkish officials responded after Khashoggi's fiancée raised the alarm just before 5 p.m. on October 2nd, 3.5 hours after the journalist entered the consulate. At that time, she was still waiting outside. An advisor to the Turkish president said that he received a call from the fiancée and that immediately he called government officials, including Turkish intelligence officers. The advisor said that shortly before 6 p.m., he called the Saudi ambassador. The ambassador told him he had not heard anything about Khashoggi. Sources say that the Turkish intelligence agency, also known as MIT, decided to review an audio-visual feed from inside the consulate, a feed whose existence Turkey has not publicly acknowledged. Details from the alleged feed suggest that Khashoggi was tortured, then killed soon after entering the consulate, according to Turkish media. Turkish officials have said that the body was dismembered. Once the tape had been analyzed, police at the airport were alerted to search the private Saudi plane at the Istanbul airport. That plane, a chartered Gulfstream, was one of the two jets that had flown from Rahada earlier on October 2nd, carrying the Saudis allegedly involved in the operation. The other plane had taken off before the investigators arrived. 7 Saudi passengers were already waiting at the airport, according to a police account, including one with a diplomatic passport. Their suitcases had already been x-rayed, and the officer who carried out the scan told the MIT officers that it would have identified any body parts inside the luggage. At about 9 p.m., intelligence officers dressed up as airport workers, and they examined the interior of the plane, but they found nothing suspicious, and the passengers were allowed to board, and the flight left around 11. On Thursday, a Turkish newspaper published security camera images that prompt to show the movement of one of the passengers who Turkish officials have said boarded that flight. The time-stamped surveillance images from October 2nd, which pro-government papers said obtained from Turkish security sources, capture Saudi intelligence officer and former diplomat Maha Matrib outside the Saudi consulate. Leaving the consul general's residence, at a nearby hotel and arriving at the airport shortly before the chartered plane departed. Madrib, who was the first secretary at the Saudi embassy in London, has been described as a colonel in the Saudi intelligence and is now believed to have played a pivotal role in the apparent assassination of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Madrib is closely connected to Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and photographs have emerged of the two together during the Crown Prince's tour of the United States earlier this year. Turkish officials have also provided passport scans of 7 other men they suspected to have been part of the 15-member Saudi team. The passport scans were taken on the day of Khashoggi's disappearance. One of the passport scans appears to belong to a man listed as the head of the forensic medicine at the Saudi Ministry of Interior. On Thursday, President Donald Trump said for the first time that he believes Khashoggi is no longer alive. Says repercussions if Saudi Arabia were found to have been involved in the Washington Post journalist killing would be severe. The Trump administration has staked much of its policy agency in the Middle East on a strong U.S.-Saudi relationship, with the president's son-in-law and senior advisor, Jared Kushner, foregoing a close personal relationship with the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
Yeah, man. You know what? Not for nothing, dude. Listen, the facts are there, and you know what? The Turks are not gonna fuck around. You know, and they're way pissed off about this. These guys got caught red the fuck handed. Bottom line, they got caught red handed, and I think to them, maybe now that it's gonna be an uproar and shit because they got to do something about it. But I think to them it's like, what do you mean we got caught red handed, my men? We didn't give a fuck. We just did that shit, man. I don't care. I'll do that shit in front of everybody, man. It's fucking. They're so sloppy. These guys come in a fucking private jet. They all boarded a plane together and they leave together. They come to fucking they come there for one night only, and they board. And they board the same night. It's like, come on, man. Now this is where the whole thing comes. This is where this is going to become a problem and shit, right? Because now it's like, no, people in their uproar. It's like, well, how can you do business with people like that, right? As Americans, and I can't speak on for the other countries because everybody does business with the Saudi Arabians to a certain extent, except for their fucking enemies, right? And technically, their enemies is everybody except them. They call everybody infidels. Like I mentioned earlier, they got a sword in their fucking flag. You know what I mean? But dude, it's like now you have to raise that point. Like, okay, yeah. And by the way, before I raise the point of the point that I'm, like I said, the point that I'm trying to raise here is like, where do we take this? How important is the money and all this kind of shit? But you have to admit, when it comes down to America, like I said, and I can't speak on the other behalf of other countries, since we beginning of America conception, we've always been dealing with fucking shitty countries, and to be honest, yeah, we're a shitty country too. I mean, other countries, other countries might go, oh, you guys got a lot of dirt in your hands. Sure, there's blood in our hands, but come on, man, there's more blood in other countries' hands. Like more, like these guys over there in Saudi Arabia don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like when it comes down to it, when it comes down to this whole fucking thing, it's like obviously they're denying it and shit, but I don't know, like they're denying it, but obviously, all the evidence points that they're absolutely very guilty to this. And this guy, Khashoggi, right? This guy, he was always vocal about the Saudi Arabian, the family and shit, like the prince's family. So this guy was like, enough of this guy's shit, and he got him whacked. And those guys got pinched. Now, the thing is this, right? When it comes down to the United States, say, for example, they go, oh, like Trump goes like, you know what, fuck these guys. These guys are completely guilty. I'm not going to deal with these guys anymore. I think that it's going to kind of, that's, I don't know. I don't think that's good for America because, to be honest, it's true. Like, yo, listen, these guys fund the shit out of us. They gave us a lot of fucking scratch. You would not believe how much money they gave us in terms of even to, like you said, to fucking even the Obama administration, when it comes down to Trump and the oil, when it comes down to Trump, he's giving, when these guys are giving a lot of money for the military, donating, if you will, and shit, so Trump's a money guy. He loves money so much. He loves money so much where he's like, I'm willing to look the other way. But I don't know, man. Like, these are one of those things he's like that he doesn't ever want to feel like that he's working for anybody. He wants to feel like the guy on top. I can see why this guy's conflicted. But to be honest, for anybody to really get in the uproar and be like, oh yeah, see, fuck Trump for this, and America's fucking, they're in bed with these guys. It's like, who isn't? You know what I mean, Heapsec?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better myself. Yeah, that's just the way it goes. I mean, they're going to tell you it was this and that. Oh, I went to there to try to marry my Turkish wife or this or that. But you know what? This is behind closed doors. Like, who knows what's
All of it,
going on?
all of it, sure. All of it is behind closed doors. And now here's another thing. This is the thing, right? Because this guy, Kajagi, I know I'm botching the name. I apologize about this, right? But the journalist, right? He, he's with the Turkish intelligence, like he kind of like works for them. So there was like they're saying that there's possible audio of this happening, and they're saying that they got it through an his iPhone watch. I don't know if you really like I said, I don't know how true that is, Zach. I know you do your research and everything, but from what I was told, there's audio of some guys. They were saying like, because they said this, they killed this guy slow, right? Apparently, and they started off by chopping his fingers off one by one, and this guy was screaming in agony. And he told the guys who were doing it, he's like, "Yo, make sure that you're playing loud music in your fucking earphones and shit, because you don't want to hear the screaming that's gonna go on." And apparently, that's what happened. And man, that shit is fucking fucked up. But I think that it was one. I think they were trying to send a message. Because there's no doubt about it in my eyes, either the guy got set up to make it look like he did it or he did it. That's the bottom line. There's no thing like, oh, this is some coincidental shit and he had no idea what the fuck this is all about, to be honest. And I know, like you said, Heapsack, everything is behind closed doors. You're absolutely right. I mean, I think we know a quarter of the real story. You know what I mean? But they got fucking pinched. And to be honest, like, it doesn't merit United States not doing business with Saudi Arabia again. What do you think? What's your opinion on that, Heapsack? Yeah, I know you're Jewish, man. So, well, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's kind of like how you said, everybody does business with the Saudis. It's not going to change anything. And if people think that this doesn't go on in, countries that claim they're civilized, well, you're wrong. I mean, this happens in every country. Everybody kills everybody. It's like the mafia. So, is it going to change anything? I don't think so. But Trump did say if he did find out that they were responsible, that there were going to be repercussions. Now, I don't know what he means by that.
Well, yeah, Trump, here's the thing, right? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how believable that is. I mean, because he's trying to say, dude, it's practically there. I mean, obviously the Saudis are going to fucking deny it. Of course they are. But, dude, come on. Like the Turks, like I think that was some intelligence shit where there was like this. I bet you the Turks are like, we know for a fact that these guys did it. But in order for us to completely reveal it, we will be revealing some of our intelligence in a way. And you know what I mean? So like it's like one of those things. Like we don't want to do that, but we know for a fact you motherfuckers did it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if it was the guy who was a watch, so like, yeah, we had him bugged. You know what I mean? Like, we had him bugged. We heard you guys fucking do it, but they can't say that shit. You know what I mean? So I think it's one of those things. But when it comes out to Saudi Arabia, you don't see nobody going against these fuckers. You don't see anybody declaring war on them. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing about Saudi Arabia, man. Believe it or not, when it comes down to the United States, with all the money they got, if you make them enemies, hey, they'll go fund somebody else. I bet you. I think that was the Americans' ideology. I think it's like, well, we might as well take their money, because if we don't take their money, they'll just give that fucking money to Russia or some shit. You know what I mean? So it was like, fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely said it, because they have a lot of oil, and at the end of the day, oil is gonna dictate a lot. And we want oil. We got a lot of cars, and we gotta, heat up our homes. So yeah, it's like, you're right. Somebody's gonna take it.
I guess in this day and age, right? I'm no fucking clean energy pussy or whatever. To me, it's like whatever the fuck, right? Who cares? Whatever the fuck, right? But you think in this day and age that oil wouldn't be such a fucking important thing and shit. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? And believe it or not, Canada got more fucking oil than a lot of these fucking places in the Middle East.
Oh yeah, like Alaska and places like that. Yeah, it's crazy. But I guess over there, it's like they've been in that business for so long. It's like that's what they're known for.
That's fucking hilarious. Fucking Canada. By the way, Canada fucking legalized marijuana and shit.
I heard about that.
Across the board and shit, right? But you know what? It's so funny that they're Canadians, so they don't have the amendments and shit. They don't have the same rights that we do, right? There's no freedom of speech over there in Canada. I just found this out today, that there was like technically that if they really wanted to put sanctions on certain things of what you're saying, they could. They could at the drop of a hat. There's no freedom of speech and shit. Like, technically, if you know what I'm talking about, like by law, you know what I mean? They're saying, hey, listen, we want to abolish, the F word. They could.
Yeah, I mean, Canada's a weird one for me because it's like there's more people in the state of California than in, the entire country of Canada. And it's strange to me, like you said, they legalized marijuana, but I'm wondering, like now you can have crazy amounts and nothing happens. Like you could have pounds and pounds and pounds, and like how does that work? Well, like
I
like,
know.
it's
That's
weird
why
to me.
it's weird though. Like you would think that when they legalize these things, like, and listen, I don't want to sound like a fucking. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't want to sound like people go boo because I just want the free weed, right? No, I don't want to sound like a narc and shit, man. Because I know everybody's like, yeah, dude, just what's so bad about that? But I feel like if you're gonna like legalize the marijuana, there should be some laws in place into it right off the bat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, obviously, you got to be a certain age to smoke,
Definitely.
or there's got to be some shit like if you're under the influence, man, it's dangerous, man. I know marijuana is legal, but it's dangerous. Like there's some kid out there who's like 19 years old and he's like he smoked one fucking blunt and the kid can't drive a car and God
I've
forbid
been
he
in that
fucking
situation. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, I feel like we've all been in that situation. You're young, you're stoned, and yeah, you're absolutely right. People might say that it doesn't, but I do think, yeah, enough of it will hinder
Of
your
course, of
ability
course.
to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that any true marijuana purist, it's like one thing some kid goes, yeah, I like smoking. It's like, come on, what the kid's like, 17 years old. He's been smoking for like 8 months. Like, I know that you're getting mad wasted, dude, off of one blunt. But let me tell you something. This legalizing, the legalization of marijuana is for the old, the older people. People, it's kind of like 21 and over, 25 and over and shit. They're definitely they want to purchase marijuana because they know they're going to be responsible about it. But I'm just going to say that when you open this floodgate, which I don't mind, don't get me wrong, fuck the dealers, put the dealers out of business. Let's go to a store and buy it. I get that shit. Make the shit regulated. I get it. But I also believe that it's gonna you're gonna have just a lot of fucking unmotivated, lazy losers. And I think that it's gonna be a lot of people just driving cars and shit, wasted as fuck. And they think in their mentality it's okay because marijuana is legal, and who gives a fuck? They can literally just smoke. You know what I mean? Like any time of the day. But it's just I don't know. I think they should have some regulation to it. You know what I mean? That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to narc on the whole fucking situation. Canada, you know what? I thought it was legal over there a long time ago. To be honest.
Yeah, I think it was like a certain amount was legal. Like if you
Right.
had, below something, it wasn't anything. But yeah, now I guess you could have whatever you want, like pounds upon pounds.
Definitely, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Lobo Show. We are slowly approaching podcast 100, the big extravaganza where we're going to just do podcasts and party hats. And that's pretty going to be much it. There's nothing else more than that we have planned. But like I said, hopefully you'll join us, and hopefully you're joining us now because, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the midpoint, at the point that we've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to strap into the seatbelts and hold tightly and brace yourself for what's about to come next. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, the nightly news with the Eve Sack.
WINS HD, WWFS HD3, New York. All news, all the time. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, October 19th, 2018. It is 56 degrees in New York City, and this is the nightly news with the Sack. Honduran migrant caravan grows to 4,000 amid spike in U.S. border crossing by the NBC News. A caravan of migrants fleeing Honduras has grown to 4,000, and the Mexican government has sent 500 additional federal police to its border with Guatemala in anticipation of their arrival, according to U.S. government documents obtained by NBC News. Part of the caravan, which has split into two groups, is approaching the Mexican-Guatemalan border amid a surge in border crossing the U.S.-Mexican border. In September, U.S. Border Patrol agents apprehended more than 41,400 undocumented immigrants, up from 37,544 in August, according to numbers not yet released publicly but obtained by NBC News. The Washington Post reported Wednesday that the numbers of families and children traveling on their own surged to record levels in September. Shelters and churches along the border have been flooded as a result of the surge, as U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents have been releasing hundreds of migrants from detention at a time. Many of the Hondurans traveling in the caravan are children, some traveling with their parents and some without. According to the documents, because children are affordable special protections in the United States, their arrival is creating anxiety within the Trump administration, which has pledged to decrease illegal immigration. President Donald Trump said last week that he would consider separating migrant families at the border once again after reversing his controversial zero tolerance policy in June. U.S. Customs and Border Protection is tracking the caravan as the Hondurans make their way north towards the U.S. border. Meanwhile, the State Department is trying to stray off that possibility by compelling the Mexican government to stop them at its border with Guatemala. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will travel to Mexico to meet with his counterparts today and plans to stop the caravan with a prominent topic of discussion. A senior State Department official told the reporters Wednesday, "I am certain that there will be conversations in Mexico how we can work together on this issue." The official said that the caravan, "We are certainly looking for concrete results, for solutions that work for both countries." President Donald Trump has threatened to cut aid to Honduras and Guatemala if their governments do not stop the caravan. It remains to be seen what pressure the United States will put on Mexico, but a senior Homeland Security official said border agents were hopeful that State Department negotiations would significantly curb the numbers that reach the United States. The department chief of mission at the U.S. Embassy in Guatemala, David Hodge, arrived on Wednesday, where hundreds of Honduran migrants continue to arrive. He told them not to continue traveling to the north. Hodge said in an interview that he was there to tell migrants that President Donald Trump's message was clear, that anyone who enters the United States illegally will be arrested before deportation. The United States government is very aware of the security and prosperity problems in the countries of the Northern Triangle, but we are investing hundreds of millions of dollars every year to improve situations, he said, referring to Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. People need their future in their countries, and they must return to their countries, he said. Police have been sent in parts to quell protesters in areas which border Guatemala and who are advocating for the safe treatment of the immigrants. According to the documents, cooperating with the United States on strict border policies has been met with a serious backlash in Mexico and contributed to the election of President-elect Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. Lopez Obrador said Wednesday that when he takes office on December 1st, his administration will give jobs to Central Americans. It is a plan that we have, that anyone who wants to work in Mexico will have a work visa. He said he told Trump that he wanted to emphasize options, including work for Central Americans.
Good. Exactly. You know what? Thank fucking God. You know what? Put this guy in office right now. Not for nothing. He said, oh, yeah, he'll take these guys. Then let him fucking take these guys because this is fucking bullshit, man. And I'm telling you this right now. I wonder who fucking riled these guys up and made them get in the line and tell them exactly where to go. I'm pointing at you fucking liberals because not for nothing. That's fucking bullshit. And I'm going to tell you why, how it's fucking irresponsible. And I'm going to break it down why I'm going to make fucking sense right now. I don't give a fuck. That shit pisses me the fuck off, bro. I'm gonna say why. Oh, why? You know, I get crazy, scared of it. No, motherfucker. I'm gonna tell you why. As a man, as a responsible man, you know what I mean? He's got guys like me and you, or guys like anybody out there who fucking gets up and work for a living, who got kids, who are fathers and take care of their children and shit. Men, those are men and shit who make sure that, you know, like I said, and I'm not trying to speak for women because I'm not a woman, but men take care of their women and men take care of their children, and they damn sure take care of their responsibility. They have to take care of what they need to handle at all times because you're a fucking man. That's what we were put on this earth for, is to be a fucking man. But what kind of man, though, picks up and just leaves and takes his family? How irresponsible is that? Oh, you know what? We're going to just go take our family and, hey, hopefully I get a construction job somewhere in Texas. Get the fuck out of here. You're going to put your family at risk like that with all these animals and all these other people? Like I say, some good and some bad. I'm not trying to fucking dehumanize these people, but obviously there's a lot of fucking criminals and there's a lot of losers. There's just a lot of deadbeats that are in these caravans of these people who are just walking to go to America for no reason. They got no game plan whatsoever, but they say, oh, you know, we're going to just come up here. We have no game plan, but like we're going to be good. We're going to be better. How about making the place where you live better? I don't give a shit, dude. Here's another thing that pisses me the fuck off. You know, they come in there. You see in the videos. They come in there waving their fucking flags and shit. There's a bunch of them, and then they got the Honduras flag up there. You'll see the, you know, whatever, right? All these other fucking different people's flag. It's like, I don't get it. If you're so proud of your country and where you're from, then why the fuck are you leaving in droves? What's with the fucking flag waving? Don't fucking wave the flag. I understand, you know what, they would have been like, oh, that's cute. Maybe if these guys are coming in, they're waving the American flag. Hey, look, man, we love America. We just want to help you guys out. Like, oh, well, you know, you guys, you know, actually turn back because we're not going to let you win. But that's a cute notion. But for these guys come in there like, yeah, I won a construction job in Texas and El Paso. I'm waving my flag. Fuck America. Fuck you. Fuck you. You can't get in this motherfucker. And I'm telling you right now, that's bullshit. That's irresponsible. We can't go up in here and just cater to these people when we got a lot of fucking problems here in our own backyard. We're supposed to go, oh yeah, let these. I get it. You know, that's the old American saying, you know, give us your tired, you're working and you're poor and shit, right? You know, all that shit. But it's like, fuck that, man. Now it's a different generation, and pal, let me tell you something. We're a little overpopulated over here, you know? And I'm going to say another thing here, too. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I personally, what really got me into Donald Trump and shit, I think that when he's like against MS-13 and all that shit, I remember like, oh, this guy's actually talking about him because over here in Long Island in New York, that's a fucking problem. It was a problem. Now they clean up the streets, right? But I'm telling you, right, these Central American guys, they come in here and I see this video they're showing on, like, I'm watching this video on Time, like on YouTube, like Time magazine, and they're showing like, oh, these migrants, you know, it's kind of a liberal thing. Like I said, I like to watch news sources from all over, from both sides, fucking from the left, from the right, and from the fucking middle. And I just make my own interpretation and my own judgment. You know what I mean? But I see these guys, right? And they're on the background and they're trying to paint these guys like, oh, these migrant people, let them go. They're just trying to get in. What's the big deal? And I swear to Christ, every time there's a camera pointed, you got like 10 of these guys in the background throwing MS-13 sign. Oh yeah. Make sure you fucking take a picture of that motherfucker. Make sure he doesn't get in. And I'm going to tell you another thing. You know, these caravans, like, oh, they're not fucking stupid either. They're going to disperse. And then some of these guys are going to get in, man. You know, fucking Mexico can talk that crap like, oh, yeah, you know, don't worry, we're on this. We're on this. And Trump can say that he can bring military guys out there. But I'm telling you that right now, it's not going to be good publicity if Trump does bring military guys in the wall and he starts shooting at them. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Maybe it is. Maybe people are like, oh, 4 more years. 4 more years. But I'm just saying, in terms of a humanitarian point, we can't shit on Saudi Arabia if we're shooting guys coming in from the border and shit. Sack, would you like to add anything to this, sir?
Yes, I would actually like to add something. This is crazy amount of numbers we're talking about. I mean, you know, we're talking about 40,000 people. You know what I mean? Just last month. You know what I mean? Like that's a small town. This isn't like, you know, this is crazy. This could become a problem. I don't know what is going to happen if they can't stop them. Like, yeah,
well, let me tell you something. I think it was like a couple of years ago, if I'm correct, maybe a year ago. But the same thing happened in Germany, right? Where there was a bunch of these migrant guys. I think I forgot who. God knows where they're coming from, right?
I think Egypt, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, yes, correct. So Merkel, and it's Angela Merkel, bro, who's a complete idiot. But then again, I don't like to talk about other people's country because I rarely know their politics. I don't know their politics as much as I know mine, but from what I hear. But that's not a right assertion because, like I said, it's just like when these guys are slamming my president that I think he's doing a good job and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But from what I hear, this Merkel is a fucking idiot because she was like, yeah, let them all come in, and then she later fucking said that, oh, I made a mistake by doing that. She admitted that she made a mistake. So what the fuck is that telling you? You know what I mean? So I'm going to say it's like that, man. Like, you know, listen, it's not about, you know, not let them all in because they're all criminals. It's not like we're saying, oh, you know, let's not let them in all in because we're criminals, because they're criminals. But it's more saying like, look, man, these guys are coming in here for all the wrong reasons. There are guys out here like, oh, I want a construction job, or I want to take some guy's job and I'll work for cheaper and shit just to be in this fucking country. It's like, yo, dude, It's like I don't understand. There's no like they don't want to make their own country better, and don't tell me there's no fucking natural resources in their country. They're fucking Honduras in Central America. That's like fucking like Caribbean shit. Like, dude, they got all these kind of fruits and shit, mango trees, and I'm not saying there's all of that, but come on, there's a lot of fucking farmland. You guys got to start. Oh my god, like stop being so fucking backwards. Stop relying on America. They want to come over here and get fucking
Everybody
free
wants to
government
live
checks.
in America. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to come in America. It's crazy.
Exactly.
That's just the way it is. I mean, it's crazy because if you really, really think about it, people have been doing this for now hundreds of years, wanting to come to America. That was their dream when they're born in some third world
Like
country
Neil
or
Diamond
something.
say. They come into America every time that flag's unfurled. They come into America. Fuck that. You know what? We're closed. America is closed. We got enough. And let me tell you something. There's a lot of people in here that we're trying to still get the fuck out. Not for nothing. Hey, listen, I pay fucking taxes. Don't get mad at me, man. Don't get mad at me. I'll have a debate. Come on, let me know if you guys want to have a debate. I won't undermine you, but I'm going to tell you that this whole caravan thing, there's a lot of bad hombres. A lot of bad hombres coming in and out of this joint. You know what I mean? Not for nothing. And not for nothing, I got a exclusive Lobo show audio here of the they caught one of these illegal guys and shit, right? And you got the guy, the border patrol agent. He's in the room right now, and he's talking to the detainee. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Lobo show exclusive audio we have of the room, the holding room, where the border agent is talking to the detainee.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Let's move on, Sack.
In other news, China plans to launch artificial moon bright enough to replace city streetlights by 2020 by ABC News. China is reportedly in the process of creating an artificial moon that would be bright enough to replace streetlights in the southwestern city of Chengdu by 2020. The illuminated satellite is said to be 8 times brighter than the real moon, according to state media People's Daily, and forms part of the country's growing ambitions in space. Chinese scientists plan to send 3 artificial moons into space in the next 4 years, and the moons, made from reflective material like a mirror, are expected to orbit at 500 kilometers above the Earth and light up an area with a diameter of 10 to 80 kilometers. Wu Chengfen, chairman of the Chengdu Aerospace Science and Technology Microelectronic System Research Institution Corporation, which developed the project, said that the illuminating satellite would provide a dusk-like glow. Mr. Wu said lighting from the artificial moon covering 50 square kilometers in Chengdu could save about 1.2 billion yen, translating to $240 million in American money, in electrical costs every single year. It could also be used to light up areas experiencing power outages caused by natural disasters such as earthquakes. Although Chengdu's artificial moon has already been met with criticism from skeptics and concerned citizens, who argued that the light will have adverse effects on animals and astronomical observation. It's not the first time humans have attempted to launch a light-reflecting object into the sky, but in the past, such plans have largely ended in failure. For example, in the late 90s, Russia attempted to launch a 25-meter space mirror, but the project was put off in 1999. The project was inspired from a French artist who envisioned a necklace of mirrors hanging over Earth.
Jesus Christ, man, we came a long goddamn way. Technology is really fucking going, And let me tell you something about the Chinese. Nobody's going to not tell them what to do. And the people's like, oh, what is this artificial moon? It might hurt the fucking animals. They're like, shut up. No, it's not. We're still putting it up there. And this is just the beginning, my friends. But an artificial moon, man, it's fucking, let me just say this. There's people who believe that the moon is a hologram and the sun is a giant spotlight, Some people may call them the flat earthers, if you will, But for this idea, and in China, I heard like they're pumping their chest about this. It's like this thing is going to be 8 times brighter than the moon. I just in terms of, I'm not an aerodynamics guy, not an aerospace guy. Hell, I'm not even a fucking science guy. But how the fuck is this thing gonna just stay up there and in terms of that Earth access, and if it goes around them, the sun, how the fuck does that work? Is it gonna just stay in China? Is it on during the daytime, or you're not gonna notice it? You know what I mean? I know these are stupid questions, but forgive me, you know what I mean, for being ignorant when you're talking about putting a fucking artificial fucking moon in the sky. What the fuck is that? And why are they doing this, Zach? What's the deal?
Yeah, I mean, they want to save money. They're claiming that they could save $240 million in electrical costs every single year, by putting up 3 moons by 2020. And it's like, I just don't know if that's really safe. I just think when you start doing stuff like that, the people have a point. Like, something could happen. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but what is this made out of anyway? And I'm going to tell you something. I'll be goddamn if this thing is just for fucking lights, too. Come on. This is some spy equipment. This is some camera. This is some bullshit. Fucking, now the Chinese people are so concerned with the Chinese are so concerned with their own people that they're putting this shit up, to benefit them. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Go sell that story to somebody else. I'm not buying it. You know what I mean? China, fake moon. What is that crap? And what's next? They're going to put a bunch of them up there? I don't know, man. It seems like some bullshit to me. But like I said, though, I don't know. Like the Chinese, their whole brains is a bowl of mush. I'm talking about in terms of the Chinese. I don't know. I'm not trying to offend anybody. But then again, I don't give a fuck. But I'm trying to say, though, an artificial moon and shit, I think it raises the question of like, oh, I told you the moon is fake because look at the Chinese. They made a moon. So obviously, shut up, moron. That moon's just as old as time. Come on. This China thing, I'm not gonna front. It'll be up in the air, but that's just gonna fucking fall down like 6, 7, 8 years now. This shit is real. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I say this, I'm really curious to see how that thing works if it revolves. I think it could truly break open that whole theory of the flat Earth and all of that shit. Like in some sense, though, you know what I mean, Sack? Like this thing, I don't know. Is this just staying in the fucking air, or is it like revolving around the sun, revolving around the Earth? It's like that kind of fucking part right there. I'm not getting too much, Sack.
Well, it's supposed to orbit. That's what they claim. So yeah, it's supposed to just circle around, but they're gonna have 3 moons up there. So I don't know how that's gonna work or what kind of how it's gonna be insane.
8 times brighter than the moon. Like what?
Right? Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work too. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be like as big, obviously, but I think it is gonna be bright and. It's I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know how and they're doing this to save energy. And let me tell you something, man. I don't know how beneficial that is, but China does have fucked up. They said like one of the most fucked up air and shit, like breathable air in the whole world, in the whole fucking planet, bro. For some whatever.
Do you know what's crazy about China? And I know you're probably not gonna believe me on this, but people have stayed in traffic for 24 hours in China. Like imagine being in traffic for 24 hours.
How the fuck is that possible? Exactly. Are you serious?
I'm not joking. I thought here, like I thought it was a joke. I thought, oh, you're pulling my chain pretty good. I'm gonna have to research this. I researched it, and it was true. I was blown away that happens in the world. There's such a thing as 24-hour traffic.
Right, and that's why you gotta understand.
So Los Angeles, New York, Miami, don't complain.
I hear you on that, but it's like, see, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you have to understand why a non-Chinese person, no matter what country you're from, finds the Chinese a little strange. I'm telling you, not Chinese Americans. So don't like if you're like some Chinese guy listening in San Francisco, go fuck you, Lobo. Like no, but even they have to understand too. Like that's strange. 24 hours in a fucking traffic jam. Like where the fuck are you going? The guy, imagine that, dude. I live 2 blocks away. 2 blocks away. What the fuck? 24 hours in a traffic jam. Let's move on, Heapsack.
In other news, Kleenex has renamed its man-sized tissues after 60 years by Entertainment IE News. In one of the most 2018 things to happen yet, Kleenex has decided to rename their man-sized tissues. No, it's not to woman size. In fact, it's not even gender specific at all. They will now simply be called Kleenex Extra Large. The company is changing the name after 60 years following customer complaints that it was sexist. Some have ridiculed the move, however. Sam Smothers, the chief executive of feminist group The Fawcett Society, explained to Sky News why the move matters. Kleenex rebranding matters because throughout marketing and advertising, we use lazy gender stereotypes to sell products and convey messages. with reinforce those stereotypes. For example, strength for men and weakness for women, or we find women's bodies used and objected. I use man-sized tissues all the time. It just means I have a bad cold. While a spokesman for Kimberly Clark told the Telegraph, Kleenex man-sized tissues have been on shelves for the past 60 years. Over that time, the brand has always been categorized by a much larger tissue size, which is both softer and stronger. Despite that, our consumer service is registering constant increase of complaints on gender concern relating to man-sized sub-brand. Kimberly Clark in no way suggests that being soft and strong is an exclusive masculine trait, nor do we believe that the man-sized branding suggests or endorses gender inequality. While it's hardly worth getting worked up about, it is worth remembering the advertising campaign man-size kicked off with. Look at him there, using that big complicated tape machine while she can only look on in sheer wonder.
Yeah.
Twitter blew up because of this. Lisa Hancox went to Twitter and she wrote, "My 4-year-old son asked me about what was written here. Then he asked, why are they called man size? Can girls, boys, and mummies use them? I said, I don't know. And yes, of course, he suggests you should call them very large tissues. It is 2018.
Ugh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Stop lying. No, he didn't. Your 4-year-old son didn't look at the tissue box and was confused because he said, oh, what is this? This man size, this woman, I'm confused. I don't know. I'm 4 years old. And you're going, oh, you just taught me something. Oh my God. And these people, they feel they're so fucking, they're like, oh, I need to say my thoughts on Twitter. And it's so funny, you know, it's mind fucking boggling. Who gives a shit, lady, about your fucking bullshit lie? Talking about, oh, my 4-year-old told me he was so confused. Oh, you know, I hear like another one goes, she was watching Snow White, and she said, my 5-year-old daughter said, why does the man have to kiss the woman for her to wake up or some bullshit like that? Get the fuck out of here with that shit and the shit that you're trying to perpetrate. And these other things that like, oh, you know, people will get in the comment section, like on Twitter, right? It's funny, it's hilarious. I'll go into it, right? And they go like, oh, they'll talk about some guy, some lady who got like killed in some shit, right? Some shit, some senseless violence act, right? And then there's like this other lady who's like, yeah, I know. In the comment section, like, I'm so sad about it. I was so sad that I couldn't fucking like work for 2 days. And they got like other people in Twitter like replying to her, like there's like fucking 800 people like, oh, feel better. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck is that? Like, man, we're here because some innocent, you know, victimless crime happened, and you got this other person they made it about themselves. These people are making everything about themselves, man. This fucking Kleenex shit. Listen, dude, it's like whatever. That's not the things that bother me. The thing is like, oh, they changed the name or not, whatever. I don't give a shit. The things that bother me is just how there's every company, everything in the world, they're just bending backwards just because they don't want to look bad. And that's just such a greed thing. They don't want to lose a fucking buck. You know what I mean? In this day and age, you know, the worst thing you can do now is get fired because on some internet shit, like, you know, like you see shit all the time. There was this lady right now I thought the video was fucking funny, but it was fucked up, right? That there's this lady, white lady, and there was this black dude who was trying to get into this building, and he lived in the building, and the whole time like, he's filming her, and she was like, you know, you don't live here, I never saw you before, blah blah blah. And this guy had like keys to his apartment. This dude, she got in the elevator with him, and then the guy still opened his door to the key, and she was still grilling him, and she ended up still calling the police on the guy. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, man, we're living in this fucking era, G, like where that guy could have got fucking killed for that shit. You know what I mean? But I think people are making a big deal out of nothing when it comes down to it, and these fucking feminists needs to get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, what the fuck? I hate feminists and shit, especially what they're doing now. You know, and not for nothing, and them, and there's a lot of people who try to, who like even to the gays. You know, they compare their experience now of equality to slavery. Now, to me, when it comes to a black man who was whipped and chained, that was fucking slavery. That was fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? But but these gay guys, they try to compare, you know, like their struggle to the old slavery struggle, like the black man struggle. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. When a gay guy is whipped and chained, That's a Tuesday night in San Francisco. You know. Let's move on, Zach.
And finally, 49 years ago today, Trey Parker was born. An American actor, animator, writer, director, producer, singer, and songwriter. He is known for co-creating South Park, along with his creative partner Matt Stone, as well as co-writing and co-directing the Tony Award-winning musical The Book of Mormon. Trey Parker was interested in film and music as a child and attended the University of Colorado, Boulder, following high school, where he met Matt Stone. The two collaborated on various short films and starred in the feature-length musical titled Cannibal, the Musical. In 1992, Matt Stone and Trey Parker became friends. Along with a couple of other friends, they founded a production company named the Avenging Conscience, named after the D.W. Griffith film by the same name, which was actively disliked by the group. In 1992, the first production, Jesus vs. Frosty, an animated short film pitting the religious figure against Frosty the Snowman. The crew created a 3-minute trailer for a fictional film titled Alfred Packer, the Musical. The idea was based on an obsession Parker had with Alfred Packer, a real 19th century cannibal. Alfred Packer, the Musical, premiered in Boulder in October 1993. The group submitted the film to a Sundance Film Festival. Trey Parker said that he needed to be at the festival, which resulted in the group renting out a conference room in a nearby hotel and putting on their own screening. MTV did a short news segment on the big picture regarding the film, and they made industry connections through the festival. They intended to sell the video rights to the film for $1 million and spend the remaining $900,000 to create another film. The film was instead sold to Trum Entertainment in 1996. In 1997, Trey Parker, along with Matt Stone, moved to Los Angeles. In August of 1997, South Park premiered on Comedy Central. The duo would possess full creative control of the show and have since produced music and video games based on the show, which continues to run till this day. The duo also created various other projects such as Team America World Police in 2004. Trey Parker has been the recipient of various awards over the course of his career, including 5 Primetime Emmy Awards for his work on South Park, as well as 4 Tony Awards and a Grammy Award for the Book of Mormon. South Park's Twitter feed blew up on September 12th, and it wrote, "That's awesome!" ! Don't miss the premiere September 26th, talking about the new season. #cancel South Park.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Trey Parker and Matt Stone is fucking amazing, man. And absolutely genius. I think that South Park is kind of like now it's still in a time where, like, at the time South Park, when we had all these different animations, you like at the point where it's The Simpsons which was great piece of comedy, man, that was around for a long time, and everybody who knows about it, but that was the edgiest thing at the time, right? Then South Park comes out, and they had a lot of crude animation, if you will, and obviously, dude, their comedy, what they found funny was at other people's expenses, and that was hilarious. You know what I mean? That's what made them even better, man. Those guys never pull any punches. Trey Parker, man, is absolutely smart, dude. The guy fucking, he went after a lot of celebrities and shit, man. And he just went there balls to the wall. And what was great about him, it was like, I think about South Park, it's like, I think when they get their point across, when some people like to get their point across, and I know I can be a victim of that they can tend to sound angry or some shit, right? Or sometimes, like, any comedian you listen to, they can sound angry to get their point across. But, I think South Park is very mean-spirited, but it's not angry. It's weird. Like, like if you can kind of break that down in some sense, I think it's just all kind of in front and it's very honest. I think Trey Parker's humor is very honest. You talk about the whole movie with the cannibal movie. It's like, these are things that you saw now. Like, you shouldn't be surprised when he came out with the Book of Mormon, because this guy was always making musical and comedy at the same time. And that Book of Mormon shit, to be honest, man, like I said, I'm not a Broadway guy. I'm not I don't like musicals and all that shit, to be honest. But that thing is one of the funniest things ever. You know what I mean? If anybody ever has the opportunity to go see it, because they literally expose the shit out of like being Mormons and shit, but they also like, you know what I mean? It's they're not lying. They're not exaggerating when it comes down to it. And I think that's the thing about South Park though. Like, sure, it's animation. So you're gonna see a lot of like people being animated in some sense, you know, or animation and some zany shit. But I think for the most part though, it's they're very truthful to an extent of what people's perception of are about the situation of the story they're telling and about the people. You know what I mean? And goddamn it, you talked about the video games and shit. I'm like, goddamn, that's true. These guys are fucking. I remember being a young kid and you know, playing the video games and shit, and not being allowed to watch South Park because of the foul language and everything. Zach.
Yeah. I will say this. Like, I'm not a big fan of South Park. In fact, I'm not a fan at all. I didn't watch the series growing up or anything. But I'm gonna say this: one of my favorite films of all time is Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. You know, South Park movie. It is great. I love the movie. I mean, till this day, I can still watch it, and oh my god, I still get a kick out of it every time. It's one of my favorites.
And me personally, I really like South Park. Actually, I'm a fan. I've seen probably every episode. I watch their current episodes, and some are better than the others. And unfortunately, I feel as a fan that, like, yeah, like it is like how what The Simpsons was. The Simpsons was fucking glorious at one point. I never was a Family Guy fan actually. Like I always been like one thing about me, if I like something, that means it's because I hate the other. It's like one of the I'm like just loyal to a brand, right? But one thing though, like I was always a Simpsons kid growing up. Like I thought that was comedy, but South Park was like when you're a kid, you're kind of like a teenager coming in. You like that harsher shit, and at that time, South Park was fucking absolutely harsh. And it's like, oh man, this shit is. I can't believe this is on TV. And now it's like it's just like everything else. It kind of ran its course. Like but now you can't really be as edgy. In this day and age, there's comedians now, man, that they're just comedians and they're getting blamed for shit they said on a stand-up act like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? Like, where are we going from here? This is what I'm saying, man. Like, there's some guy who's like, yeah, whatever. Like, he was talking about a girl or whatever, and like he banged some girl, some shit, and it's like, oh, dude, you remember what you said 10 years ago? And this was a comedy act. It's just this is where we're coming to nowadays. But I think that still, though, what I like about Trey Parker a lot is that the guy was always pushing the button. That's his thing. He's one of the best people, and most people may not know him or they don't like. Oh, I don't watch cartoons or whatever. Okay, but this guy has always been pushing the envelope as far as you go, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. I think he is definitely, in terms of cinema, in terms of storytelling and all that shit, dude, the Book of Mormon, the concept of it is fucking great. And let me tell you something, Team America, World Police, does not get enough credit. That is one of the funniest things. I dare you to watch Team America and not fucking laugh your balls off, or if you're a fucking girl, laugh your clam off. You know what I mean? Sag. And here's the thing: how can you watch the South Park movie and not watch the show? Like, how is that possible? Like, you thought the movie was good, but you didn't care to go back to watch the show? What was that about?
Well, yeah, I can explain that. During the late '90s, I'm not the only one. There's others of you, but you guys aren't going to admit it. I had the black box. For those of you that don't know what the black box is, it was like a cable box, and you would get like, HBO.
We called it the Scrambler. We called it the
Scrambler.
In the Northeast.
Yeah, and basically, I ran across it on pay-per-view one day. I was like, what is this? I was like, cartoons? I was like, you know what? Let me check it out. Because I always heard about South Park, but I wasn't like a cartoon guy. But I was like, you know what? Something just struck me that day. So I was like, I'm going to watch it. I sat there, watched the whole thing. Man, I laughed my ass off. Terrence and Phillip and Saddam Hussein and Hell and Satan. And like, it
Blame
was
Canada.
I mean, to me, it was like they kept it real. Like they put like a realistic twist on like a cartoon, like you said, like they went mature with it, but they gave you what was going on. Like, like it was just cool. Yeah. To me, it's one of the greatest films. I mean, that's just my opinion, just because it's timeless. It really is. Yeah, it's a cartoon or whatever, but you throw it in, it's still relevant today. Like the movie starts off, the kids want to go to the theater, but they go there and they're not old enough to see the rated R movie. So, like it's very relatable. You can relate to it. It's not like a fantasy
Right.
cartoon.
And also, like I said, most people are not going to be into musicals. And like I said, but the thing is about them, what they made it funny is because it was comedy. They weren't like they absolutely weren't they were not trying to be serious at all, and that's one thing about Trey Parker and Matt Stone and those guys don't really take it too much serious. And not to knock Matt Stone, but dude, I seen like videos of like Trey Parker coming up with these shows because unlike The Simpsons, they'll do a season. It'll take them like a year and shit to make a season. Well, South Park, they'll finish completing the show and they'll come out like a day or two later. Like they're literally adamant about that's the way they work. That's the way they want to work. You know what I mean? It's very different than the way The Simpsons does it and Family Guy and all that kind of shit. So because they like to be topical, that's like one of their things. Like they're very, very topical. And to be honest, I seen this guy Trey Parker like prep for a couple of shows. Like they have like video of that, and I swear to Christ, G, not for nothing. This is why Trey Parker's a man. It's just him. Is he going? All right, I want to do this and this guy, and he's going to say this because he does the voices too. And like this guy Matt Stone, not for nothing. It's just like he's just sitting there nodding his head. It's like I guess he's like his old college buddy. He's just like I don't know how much Matt Stone is contributing, but fucking Trey Parker's a genius. I know that he put his name on the whole Book of Mormon thing, which. To be honest, like I know that South Park made him millions of dollars, but now he's a multi-million-dollar guy. You know what I mean? 7 to 8 figure kind of guy now because of those cartoons. And Heapsack, unfortunately, they're waving you off. While they're waving you off, I'm getting the middle finger in the background. Go F yourself too, man. Right back at you. I know you got to get out of here. I know you got other things to do, but you will be back, my friend, like you always do. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the Nightly News with Heapsack. More Lobo show, ladies and gentlemen, for the good or the bad. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Third segment of Lobo show. This is when it starts fucking cooking, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, me, your host Lobo, always in the building, and my pal Heapsack's in here. But Heapsack, I know you were telling me like, sometimes we just like to shoot off the shit. No fucking nothing. Like I said, straight up freestyle here at the Lobo show. And I knew you was like prior we came back, we were just talking before we cut the mics on and shit. And you were showing me some videos that you were laughing at. What the fuck you got, man? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, as everybody knows, President Donald Trump did a speech last night in Montana, and I was talking about the congressman from Montana, Greg Gianforte. There was audio of him body slamming a reporter, and he got charged with it last year. He's cleaned up now.
Whoa, back up, dude. He said he body slammed the reporter. Some guy who's running for office, or he's in office.
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is Donald Trump's son is a big fan of this guy, and they want him. Yeah, they want him to be on the forefront with their team, and he's a really cool guy.
Which son? Which one? Donnie Jr. Or the other one?
No. Man. I think it was not the youngest one, but the one above that. I don't know his name though.
I like Donnie Jr. I like Don Jr. Yeah, he's all right, man.
But it was crazy. Right. Yeah, I mean, they have audio of it, and it's just insane because it's and like imagine somebody picking you up and body slamming you. Like, how would you react?
All right, so let's check this out. Right, this is the body slam by the candidate and shit. Let's see what the fuck this whole thing is about.
Sick and tired of you guys. The last time you came here, you did the same thing. Get the hell out of here. It was one of perhaps the most surreal experience of my life that I've asked countless politicians, countless questions, in my career in journalism.
I don't care. Some dickhead in some Korean Jerusalem. You see how these guys? This is why you got fucking slammed. These fucking femme men. Oh, how can I be a feminine guy when I got a fucking beard? Not for nothing. They're like, shut up. You know what? You deserve to get body slammed. And I heard Trump was like, yeah, hey, the guy body slammed him. That he's my kind of guy and shit. But now, sometimes when the Republicans gotta go, oh, come on, back off, Trump, and they're giving Trump kind of shit for saying that. It's like, I don't know, the fuck, man. Look, man. To be honest. America opened the whole can of worms, man. Are we going to blame Trump for everything? It's hilarious, So we talked about the Saudi Arabia thing earlier. It's like, are we going to blame Trump for everything? I swear to Christ, this fucking John Oliver, right? I hate bringing this guy up, but it's like he was like, he kind of made a point, like he does this thing, John Oliver, right? But he kind of like tried to make this point that, okay, I get it, like everybody took Saudi Arabia money, but now what Trump is doing, which is taking Saudi Arabia's money like every administration did, included to the prior one. But it's like what he's doing is the worst of them all. It's like that's that shit that they're trying to spin. Like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? With that shit. That was funny though. That thing, the guy was trying, he tackled the guy, you know what I mean? But come on.
I know the guy made a big deal about it.
Yeah, but the guy, no, it kind of is. To be honest,
you're right.
No, it kind of is, because it wouldn't be a big deal if it's like me and you tackle some guy, or maybe we were drunk, whatever. But we're not in office, man. That's the thing about the Republicans. To be honest,
but the guy's saying it was like like the most surreal moment of his life. Like,
but he's a pussy.
Lived?
No, he's
have
a pussy.
Not lived?
Exactly, right.
Yeah,
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's weird, right? Here's the thing, right? This is
we're
why
from New York,
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing. This was so weird about this. We're gonna wrap this up pretty soon and shit, right? Bore everybody else to tears here, but this is what's like you said, surreal about it. It's like, yo, look, I'm not gonna lie to you, right? I'm a Trump guy. I like Trump, dude. I think what he's doing is great. But like, dude, when it comes down to what worries me? Like 8 years from now, actually, I know Trump's gonna get reelected because as long as he wants to run, he's gonna run. He's gonna win, right? But it worries me is like after he's gone, because these liberals are so fucking crazy and they're so like pussies and shit. Like, I don't want to vote for no pussy ass, punk ass dude, like, you know what I mean, who fucking gets tackled by some other guy and like he's gonna cry about it and say that was like, oh, the most bullshit thing that happened in his life. But I also don't want to breed these new kind of crazy people. They see Donald Trump cutting a promo like a wrestler, so now they feel like, oh, the only way they're gonna get elected is I'm gonna cut a promo. I'm gonna be the next Trump, and I'm gonna do the even worse shit, and I'm gonna say everything else. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit. So to me, man, I'm just I'm a little distracted. I wouldn't say worried, but I'm a little distracted to see what's going to happen after Trump steps down from the throne, to be honest.
I don't know. I mean, you bring up a very good point, because in my opinion, I think the White House is going to go Hollywood. That's the only thing left.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't want to say
right.
West
or
you nailed it. Rock or whatever, but you're
it.
right, because you nailed it when you said this big promo personality, because that's what it is now. It's like Trump, if you want to look at it, he is a TV guy. He was on TV way before he got into politics.
Sure.
So we all know him from television. So this is that era now where Hollywood will try, like, it's not a coincidence that Kanye West is hanging out with the president.
Right,
it's just not. So like you said, what's going to happen? Man, who knows? But I think it's going to go Hollywood.
Yeah, I can see that. Meaning like Oprah or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Yeah, see, like she could be the first woman.
Dude, who knows? But here's the thing, right? See, like, this is what I'm crazy about the liberals, and this is why I'm not gonna lie to you, man. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to get banned off of YouTube because for saying the wrong. I want to make sure that if I'm going to ban for YouTube is saying the right thing. But I just want to say this: I'm not inciting a riot here, but I think there's the civil war is brewing. See, these are the things that are leading to the civil war. Shows like the Lobo show, or just people out there. Listen, I'm not inciting that a riot. I'm not. But what I am indulging in, and what I am proud of, is that I'm trying to enlighten people where they can make their own fucking, their own decision. But at least they're hearing it. Maybe they're hearing these whole things for the first time. It's like I never really heard it from that side, really. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, what me and Heapsack is trying to do. But it's like, man, Jesus Christ, I really feel there's a civil war brewing. I feel like that there's a lot of people out there that are very angry. There's a lot of Americans that, we're not acting like brothers and sisters to each other, but we're divided. You know what I mean? But there's people can say, oh, it's because Trump is dividing us, and guys like me are saying that the liberals are dividing us. But this is where you, as the Lobo Show audience make an interpretation, make your own decision. Ladies and gentlemen, if you listen this far, we truly appreciate it. And in fact, we know who you are. You know what I mean? Thank you. People who hasn't, you know what I mean? Tune into the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes trying to be slick. We know who you are too. Ladies and gentlemen, if there isn't anything else, Heap Sack,
No, sir.
we're gonna move on down and head on down to that dusty old trail. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for coming through. We'd like to bid you a farewell. And, at the Lobo Show, ladies and gentlemen, check us out on Twitter. You know what I like? I'm starting to see people who don't make Twitters, who never had Twitter account, and they make Twitters just to come, say what's up to the Lobo Show. That's much appreciated, yo. Right back at you. And you listen to, and by the way, I apologize if I haven't been around with the YouTube videos. I'm not going to front, man. I've been super busy. It's the fourth quarter right now in terms of the business that I do. I'm in the stock market and shit. You know what I mean? I'm in the financial area. So, dude, I'm trying to watch the videos on the weekends and trying to catch up. But I know who the fuck is real as fuck, and I know people who just want to fucking get a hit on their video. Listen, man, that's why you have to understand, like, prior, if you saw me, like, send a comment to some other video, but you didn't see me send a comment to yours, it's because I was going to try to take my time and watch your fucking video. Don't get pissed off, bro. Let's try to make this shit happen again. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to name your name, and it's not who you got. Anybody who listens to it's not the big time players. This is some other guy that I know. This is between me and him. This got nothing to do with these other guys that are listening. You know what I mean? If there's anything else, say goodnight, Heap Sack.
Good night, Heap Sack.